In this video, I'm going to be following up my previous tutorial on creating chemistry ball and stick models for ClassVR by showing you how to colour individual bonds differently in Blender. Unfortunately, as of October of 2020 when this video is being recorded, importing PDB files from Avogadro into Blender will not represent double or triple bonds any differently to single bonds. A simple workaround that I'm proposing is to just colour double and triple bonds differently, which is what I'm going to be showing you how to do today by creating a benzene molecule. I'll also be showing you a simple way in which you can speed up the model making process by using import presets in Blender. To start, let's open up Avogadro. Make sure that both the tool settings and display settings buttons are highlighted in blue, and then under the display types section, make sure that only the ball and stick and label checkboxes are checked. Next, go down to the draw settings section and select carbon as our element, and we'll start by adding a pair of bonded carbon atoms by clicking and dragging. We can continue this molecule by clicking on an existing carbon atom and dragging from there, and repeat this process until we have a rough hexagon. Now let's add some double bonds by selecting double as our bond order and simply clicking and dragging between two existing carbon atoms. Let's finish this up by going up to the top left, selecting the extensions drop down and clicking Optimize Geometry, and now we have our benzene molecule. And so the reason why I've just told you to add these double bonds, even though I've previously mentioned that Blender can't visualize these differently, is because you may find a different method to import PDB files in the future that will support these double bonds. Until then, let's simply save this file. I'm going to call this benzene and save it to the desktop. Now we can close down Avogadro and open up Blender. Get rid of this pop-up by clicking anywhere on the screen, and delete the cube by pressing A to select all and press delete on your keyboard. Next, let's import our file by going up to the top left, clicking File, Import, Protein Databank as per the last tutorial. Navigate to your file, select it, and before you click Import, we need to once again set up the settings. Now make sure that these are set to NURBS under the type of ball/atoms section. Then set the distance scaling factor to 1.5. Set the type to atomic. Make sure the use sticks checkbox is selected under the stick/bond section. Set the type from dupliverts to normal. And make sure both the smooth and bonds checkboxes are selected. Now instead of having to do this every single time, what we can do is create a preset by clicking on this plus icon up here, and then click on the name box, give it a name. I'm going to be calling it ClassVR for the sake of this tutorial, and hit OK. Now just to demonstrate, I'm going to close down Blender and repeat the process of importing our file. And instead of having to set this up again, all I have to do is just go into ClassVR, click on it, and it will load the preset. And this will save you a lot of time if you're trying to mass create a bunch of molecules. Next, let's just hit the import button. Now, as per the last tutorial, we want to get rid of that pesky hidden carbon and hydrogen atom. We can do this by pressing A to select all, going up to the top left, click on Object, go down to Apply, and select Make Instances Real, and repeat this process with Object, but then click on Show/Hide this time, and click Show Hidden Objects. Now let's just click anywhere to deselect the molecule. We can use our middle mouse to change the angle of our camera, and we can click on these unwanted atoms and press delete to get rid of them. Next, let's add some color to this molecule. So once again, I'm just going to click on any carbon atom, and I'm going to go down to the Material Properties tab, and I'm going to select the base color and change it using the color wheel. Now, I'm going to just set the V value under the HSV tab of this color to 0.4. That's going to give me a light gray. So showing on screen now are the color settings that I've been using to create my molecules and making sure that they're all under a standardized color set. So now that we've done this, as you can see, Blender has not shown the double bonds any differently to our single bonds. So let's differentiate these by highlighting them in a light blue color. So what we can do is select any one of them, and back in the Material Properties tab, you'll see this plus icon over here, which is to add a material slot, and let's give that a click. And now we have this empty window, and let's click on New, because currently we don't have another material, and we're going to create one. So after clicking on New, let's uncheck this Use Nodes box, and we can actually give it a name by clicking on this box, pressing delete, and giving it a name. I'm going to be calling this double bonds for the sake of this tutorial. And now you will have two materials in this window. So these aren't actually the materials that we have access to. This is just the two materials that are being applied to this one bond over here. So as we only want to use the double bond material, click on Stick and click on the minus sign. Now we can edit the double bond material itself by clicking on it and going down to this base color and once again changing the color. So I'm just going to use a random blue shade instead of the standardized one today, just to simplify this tutorial. And now you can see that we've changed the color of this one bond. But what if we want to do it to the rest of the double bonds in benzene? Well, we can select the other ones by clicking on the first one and holding Shift and clicking on the second one to select multiple. Now, over in this Materials Property tab again, we can click on this Browse Material to be Linked button and select our newly created double bonds material. And sometimes, like here, it's not worked. This is the case. Simply just do this one at a time by clicking on the thing and once again changing the material to double bonds using this drop down. And there we have it. We have a benzene molecule. Now, as usual, if you want to see me export this into the right format for use with ClassVR, stick around, but otherwise this tutorial is finished. So to export, what we're going to do is go up to the top left, click on File, click on Export, click on FBX. I'm going to select the desktop as our location, and I'm going to call this benzene again. And there's no need to configure this, just hit export and we should be good to go. And I'm going to close Blender. You can save this, but I'm not going to today. And now I've got my benzene FBX file and my PDB file. So the next step is opening up your internet browser and going to AnyConv.com. The link is provided in the video description again. Simply drag in your FBX file, select GLB as the convert type, click Convert, and just wait for this to upload. Once it's done, go ahead and click on Download GLB and navigate to your Downloads folder. As you can see, My benzene file has been saved here. I'm just going to drag this to the desktop, rename it benzene GLB. Now let's open up this file by double clicking on it, and it should open 3D Viewer, the default Windows 10 application. Now using the middle mouse we can see that we have our benzene molecule with the double bonds highlighted in blue, and that concludes the recap section of this tutorial and the whole tutorial for that matter. Thanks for watching.